But you do have been a colleague of KG Subramanyan.
No, I also know him quite for some time, but being a junior artist to him, almost 15 years junior, I see him and I can, actually I can only tell how I look to his work. That is what I can say. As an artist, I look to his work. So that is the thing I can talk about. Actually, I know him since I first, I think when he was in the design department of Handloom Board, Weaver Service Center. He was a designer. He was that time a quite office assistant director, Weaver Service Center. So I actually relate all his past, how he, how his development was. So I look at his work more visually than other aspect. So I can talk about that he is a very important, significant designer, I felt. He used to even did lot of designs in different way, even textile designs. He did some excellent works for which he was appreciated by Fukuoka, and he was given major important post to look after the designing section. And we know all his earlier artworks, including murals, what he did since long time, that Gandhi Darshan in Delhi. So we actually know he's an excellent designer, that we saw all his works, we can find. And even toys, terracotta toys, excellent, I think extraordinary works he did, so individualistic. Though it is our tradition to have toys in clay, but his works are very much different, very individual type, with his own personal idea and skill. So I then come to how he got this. See, we always see the practical part of an artist, I think that his training in Shantiniketan with Nandalal Board was quite helpful, but his works, if we analyze all his works, what he did during his life, we say that word, that eclectic. There are various elements. He is an intelligent, one of the most intelligent artists, intellectual artists in India, who not only work with hand but also with brain. So we will have to see his works accordingly. So I think that his training in Shantiniketan, what I felt that Nandalal Bose, when he left Calcutta, during the time, his style of work, his type of work was very realistic. He did those works where we can find that Nandalal was very highly skilled in realistic work. His training was also like that. But when he went to Shantiniketan, he adopted a certain technique which has connection with our Far East, China, Japan. All this style was incorporated, and his sketches were different than the earlier sketches. Earlier sketches were very much realistic. He made lot of portraits and other things what we saw. But there was also his connection with the Indian traditional artworks, like even in Ajanta. They were mixed up in his work. I find that like a figure he draw, what he did, he made sketches of shantals or any objects or animals. We find that the construction of the figure or tree or something, there is something which is very much organic. the bent of the, the hand or the body formation or any structure, it is very clearly identified. And I found Manida's work in his earlier sketch also was very much influenced by that. Manida was very good in anatomy. You see, we saw some of the book of sketches of Benaras. I find that which Seagull probably printed, and it was his works were so excellent, his figures, that you see that anatomy was very strong in that. But Manida also probably took the idea of construction, and I can again go back to Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was very much connected, his works of Pigeon or that particularly this Minotaurs, those carved, the carved lines, and then the anatomical movements of the hands and parts. I found that Manida was quite understanding this anatomy in a different way, and very it was like I used to tell to the students like that, like we have that paper puppet, hand puppet like this, we move like that and then hand moves like this. In Manida's work I find that a bird will be drawn where his feathers and each part of the body is identified separately, and they are moved so easily in his work. Like here also you can see that he cultivated this drawing. Now these are very, the latest work which is at the age of 90 he is doing, but if we go through all his works, we find that those anatomical side is very much strong, but it is done in a very facile way, in a decorative manner also sometimes, but the decorativeness is not ultimately was the purpose, but purpose was the relationship of the drawing. I find that he cultivated a language or a style, what we say, in a way where this basic construction is very much kept in the drawing, but there are a lot of distortion is there at present. At present I find it is so much distorted, but it does not lose the relationship of the the construction, where the fun is there. You see, if you actually see a particular hand or a particular part of the body, you don't find they are real. You see, they look so much elongated, so much distorted, but the whole body is together very much, and they are quite composed. And so this is the latest works, but we can see the earlier work where it is very clear that what I was telling, that the anatomical parts and then the joints, the movements, they are very much related. And that is, I think that root was from Nandalal Bose's those drawings, and also probably with many other works where he observed in varieties of various places, or by works of maybe other artists, I don't know, but this is what I felt, and that is one of the major elements in his work. Secondly, we all talk about that he had influences of Picasso. That is our observation. I mean, Picasso, even Matisse, the Matisse has, that you say that wild fobistic style, where one face has got multiple colors, tones, which gives the liberty. I find in Manida's work, he took liberty to take lot of colors in one figure. Say the hand is red, the head is green, the other part is yellow, like that. So this liberty, probably that gave the freedom was is actually given by that Fauvist artist like Matisse. Matisse's works are very clear. May not be later period, but earlier period we find it little clearer. And then we felt that Tanjore painting maybe also has got some influence on Manida's work, since that glass painting when it started, probably that has a certain relationship with those works. So it is, and then after practicing, he has cultivated his unique style of Manida. I say that all this becomes past when he himself is very much confident of taking up, the form and figure, and also decorative things are always there. That space. He divides the space in such a way that they are together. It is not like contemporary modern artist, but very much also maybe Indian, and he has cultivated that language or style in a very with lot of liberty, and recently I find the present works is very much lyrical, very poetic. The lines has so much fluency, so much liberty that if someone may be thinking that what is this, of course the people who knows what is art, they will always appreciate in his work, but sometimes they may think that how this looks, so much distortion. But together everything, they are so enchanting. They are, so individualistic, and he crossed that earlier influences to come to his personality, to his individuality, and also he is a very witty person. We find that in his work one can see continuously all his work has a lot of wit and fun sometimes, and also statements of society, life, and all this we can find if we see. And then also this his color schemes are, he is very conscious about color. We see that these are all done in grey, so he has taken certain color which goes with the grey color, maybe 3 or 4 colors he has taken, and so these combinations are extremely cordial. So this quality we find in his work, and the brush lines are, I think, extraordinary, which one cannot do so easily. It is something that he cultivated throughout his life. His lines are, I think, all his drawings and other lines, they are extremely fantastic that way. And sometimes we may talk about that his works are flat, two-dimensional, but at the same time, if we go through his works, we find that they are so sometimes psychological. Since Manida is not here, I can probably express that thing, that there are some paintings which we will have to look at and think that what is behind this work. So we can probably do research on that on a later period and find out what was inside it, how it has come to his work like that. So there are, he painted a god or goddesses like image with probably half naked, naked. So we'll have to think. I think Siva Kumar is here. Manida is like his guru, or everybody's guru. But I think that we'll have to at one time think of what really he wanted to say through these images. So this is another thing came to our mind, and also definitely it will be at one time we'll discuss all this in detail. So
Why not now?
No, now
There are time constraints.
we'll definitely talk about it, but we need those pictures for the paintings very clearly that were on, regarding which works I am talking about. So we'll have to bring them and talk. Like we can easily talk about some other painters probably, but about Manida we'll have to take little care.
Thank you, Jogen,
Okay.
for your observations. And some of them are really very important observations that you have made. Now, I don't propose to go into details of my views on Manida's work. I will try to stick to what has already been said by Shiv and by Jogen. Now, Jogen started with the observation that Manida had been a wonderful designer. Now, there have been designers, good designers and bad, but we had always streams of designers. What makes Manida so special? Jogen has spoken about his terracotta toys, but I would like to refer to another set of toys. They are bimaterial, two-material toys. Not so common among the traditional artists or traditional craftsmen. You remember, he made those wonderful wooden toys with leather. He combined leather and it is an individual approach. This combination itself was an individual approach. And design-wise, they did not look like other such toys. But they had family resemblances with several kinds of wooden toys, several kinds of leather toys, but they were not identical. So here was a man who was taking up different traditions and trying to fashion an individual language. Here he was making use of tradition in his own way, and what we see are transformed objects, transformed by a very gifted craftsman. Steve had spoken the first point that he has noticed, that like many of the modern artists, Manida didn't start with a big negation of what there is or what there had been to establish his own individuality. He started with some kind of affirmation, and the affirmation included traditions. But he didn't also wanted to establish his own identity as an individual artist. There is an individual artist who doesn't start with a big negation. He starts with some kind of affirmation and then goes forward to establish his individual identity. A big problem with modernism everywhere had been foregrounding of the negation. well, we can understand that in the West, where industrialization and bourgeois democratic culture did mean a negation first, then affirmation later. In India, an underdeveloped country which was trying to be a developing country, we could not negate all of what we had because the past was very much present in all our thought and in our activity. Past was always present. So, the Shantiniketan artists, Siva Kumar has done a wonderful work on Shantiniketan artists, and he has named its contextual modernity they were attempting at. What is